Victoria!
Hello!
Victoria, tell us about the guests we've got coming to.
Oh my god, we do have an amazing lineup of guests, don't we?
We're going to have a little chat every week, because we need a little bit of a help on a Friday afternoon, don't we, ladies?
My week has been fabulous.
Oh my goodness! We're here! We're here! It's the last show. Did you know that? Oh my goodness. So we're going to make it fun. But I need some people with me. Who's here today? Here's Victoria. Where is she? Come on, come in. Come in. I don't bite. And I had a shower. How cool is that?
How are you?
Yeah. I'm really happy and really sad. And thank you so much for getting this all going. We need to tell everybody what's happening, don't we?
We do. So today is the last episode of this season of the Friday Club. But I have a new show coming out in a few weeks' time.
Which is
called The Friday Cuppa. And it will be a bi-weekly podcast live on LinkedIn, available on YouTube and other platforms, where I will chat one-on-one with an amazing roster of guests.
Yeah, you have got an amazing roster of guests already.
I know.
Already. And the beauty is you're not relying on anybody else that can mess it up or do silly things or not turn up. So thank you so much for doing this. And when you initially asked me, I'm like, yeah, I'll do this. And I should have stopped and thought about everything I've got going on in the autumn. I have been here, there, and everywhere. I was in Birmingham last week. I'm Columpton next week. I'm Canada the week after.
I know you do get about.
I can't say no. I can't say no. But this has been absolutely fun. And it's been absolutely fun because we've had someone else special with us as well, haven't we?
We have had a very special lady with us.
Lady. Here's Odessa!
I love that you questioned that. I was like, where is the question coming in exactly?
You are a lady. And this has been absolute fun. But the thing is, behind the scenes, people don't realize how much work is involved in putting this together, taking it to the next level, and goodness knows what else. And our guest that we've got on today, our final guest, will spill the beans because they have exactly the same things going on as well. Victoria, can you just do that a second for me?
Which that one?
It doesn't. Yeah, perfect. Look at that.
Okay.
It works. Right. It's Friday already. I saw a post this morning on LinkedIn. Next week it's November. I do know it's November, but it's like, where did that sneak from?
It has come around really quickly, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Somebody ate it. Somebody's eaten it.
And then people talk about the dreaded C word as well.
What have you been up to this week? Whew, that was well put in, wasn't it? Victoria, we'll go to you because Odessa's lost it again.
No, I've got through control. Good.
Okay.
This week has been really interesting. I've been chatting to some amazing people, lining up the guests for the new show, working with some clients on some CRM stuff, and just getting caught up because after the show, I go away for the week.
Oh,
Yay!
Nice. Where are you going?
We're going to Dusseldorf, and we're staying at the Crown Plaza, which in Germany, So a nice hotel with the spa facilities and everything. And then I found a water park within an hour of where we're staying that has 13 different saunas. Like not just one, 13. So that's me chilled for the week.
Wow, you're gonna come back horizontal, aren't you?
Well, I've only packed 3 swimming costumes. I don't know if that's enough, but we'll roll with it. Okay,
that's awesome. That is awesome. Right, your turn, Odessa. What have you been up to this week? You're alive. That's a bonus.
No, nothing exciting. I've had one of those weeks where life well, personal life has drowned out everything else. Not been an easy one, but I've kept on top of my workload. I haven't worked too late. Normally I work ridiculously late in the evening to make up for the time that I spent networking, but I've actually kept on top of things. So I technically don't have any work to do other than a few stray bits today, which is quite a nice feeling for a change, because I've been chasing my tail quite a lot and burning the candles. So I'm hoping that it means I can just relax a little bit more this weekend.
Nice.
So yeah, I need to catch up.
It's difficult because if you're here, there, and everywhere,
yeah,
something's got to give, and what gives is that pile of work that needs doing. And you
no. What gives is my sleep. I will do the work even if I have to stay up until 2 a.m.
2 a.m.
But then I've had some issues with the personal stuff coming in and stopping me from sleeping. So the combination of everything has just finished me off. So I needed to get to this point so I can actually just switch off.
So thank goodness it's Friday.
Thank goodness. It does feel like it's been a really long week. So when you said it's like, where it's gone, I was like, no, I thought it was Friday by Wednesday. So
all right, okay, one of those weeks.
And Ashley, what about your week? How's that been?
Yeah.
What have you been up to this week? I've had it's been brilliant. I haven't been anywhere, but I've had some amazing meetings. Got another new client. But yeah, loads going on. Absolutely superb. And I had a chat with Joan yesterday from Try Booking. And she is just as mad as me. So that was a great conversation. So yeah, I've had an absolutely amazing week. Been asked to do some things, which is always good, but that's not to be aired publicly. So yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic. And because I've been here, just like you, Odessa, I haven't got anything outstanding to roll into the weekend, which is lovely. So I can chill out. Right, should we bring our guest in?
Absolutely.
Dayle, it's
Hello.
yellow.
Hey,
It's yellow. That's cool.
He's
great
yellow.
colour. It's a great color.
No, I was talking about the t-shirt, and oh my goodness, you sound so sexy, man. What are you doing? Your microphone.
It's a different kind of treat this Friday. We've
You've got to be the sexiest man on radio, surely. Don't come on, ladies. He sounds sexy, doesn't he?
No, I was totally up for it. I heard it and I was like, yes, please.
I think I've probably known Dayle for about 2 years now, I think, something like that. And we bump into each other at various shows because obviously being at different parts of the country. And we've had a few one-to-ones. And I think you know Odessa and Ashley quite well as well. So we're all friends here today.
Yeah, nice. Absolutely. And I don't know about you, but at the end of every show, we're friends anyway.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of
I mean, the four of us already know each other quite well.
Absolutely. Dayle, there might be someone listening that doesn't know who you are. So come on, give us a little bit of an intro, bit of a backstory, and why on earth are you wearing a yellow t-shirt?
Okay, in order. My name is Dayle Rodriguez. I am a systems advisory manager at Creston Reeves. Creston Reeves are an accounting firm. I'm not an accountant, by the way. Long story. Why yellow? It's my favourite colour, and I think it reflects my personality.
Nice.
Look at him going.
Legendary.
Did you see my post this week, Dayle?
I did not see your
post. Was it yesterday? It was our wedding anniversary.
Yes, 36 years, is that right?
Yeah, I know. I got married as a child.
Nice.
I just see it, yeah.
But it was me with so those of you listening on the podcast or don't do LinkedIn, it was me with the flowers that I bought my wife for our wedding anniversary. A bunch of yellow roses, and I used it for content on LinkedIn.
There's no shame in that.
Well, no, there's not. And look, my wife knows me. It's what I would do. But you walk into a flower shop, right? And they got red roses and white roses and yellow roses. I didn't know they were a thing.
I buy yellow roses all the time because it's my favourite colour too.
Well, there you go. There you go. So there we are. That's why you're yellow. I want to know a little bit more about what you do at the accountancy practice if you're not an accountant.
So the way I describe it, you can call my role also a solutions architect. Essentially, I ask clients, business owners, why they do things a certain way, without annoying them and maybe suggesting another way of working. That's literally what I do. I
That's
love
where
doing
the
it
voice
as well.
comes in. That's why
So
it's
you're
not
a problem solver.
Yeah, a problem solver. Like most accountants, I don't do accounts because I'm not an accountant.
I know a few accountants who don't seem to do accounting either.
No comment.
Yeah, we got to be careful. We got to be careful what we say. but the thing is, right? There's an awful lot of jobs where you expect everybody in the company to do that sort of thing, and there's literally only a few people that do that thing. You know, and like a restaurant. Not everybody in a restaurant cooks. You know, and engineering, and there's all kinds of places of work. So you're a little bit different. And when you go out and do you actually tell people what you do? Because you don't actually say I'm an accountant, do you?
No, I just say I'm a business advisor.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. That sounds really cool. So what sort of things are we getting wrong then? What's the obvious thing that you turn around to your average person and say, hey, you need this?
Well, that's a good question.
I hate to give you such a non-answer, but I can't give you an answer until I've asked you something about you or your business. I can generalize, right?
Okay,
so,
let's do a bit of role play. Ask Odessa the question.
Handcuffs or no handcuffs? What kind of role play are we doing here?
Handcuffs.
Sorry. Pretend I'm prospecting Odessa as a client.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You can still start with that. It's okay.
Oh dear God.
Okay, you can like, this isn't a secret, right? You can ask someone like, what's the biggest challenge they're facing in their business this year, right? And provided you've got some level of rapport, they might tell you. And if they tell you, you go, okay, what are you planning to do about that? And they go, I've got this idea, or I'm not entirely sure. And essentially, you're just being a sounding board for a person. That's all you're doing. And then the real trick is following up and being accountable and helping that person provide metrics for it. So anyone can call themselves a business advisor or a consultant. And one of the things that irks me is people who don't look at the metrics to back up what they're recommending.
It sounds like the questions you ask are not that dissimilar to the stuff that we ask when I'm mentoring, for example. Correct. So I volunteer mentor and I mentor through one of my businesses, and the similar sort of questions where you're asking them the right questions because the answers are in them. Ultimately, they know their business better than anyone else, but you're just helping them find it. Yeah.
I think the hardest thing, though, is the bigger the organization, the more stakeholders, so the more questions you've got to ask.
Yeah.
But,
So when you go to an organization, what's the biggest one you've been to?
What, in terms of company size?
Number of people or something that you
size doesn't matter, okay?
No, but I'm just wondering, because if Dayle came to here, it's just me, yeah, and you'll be able to turn around and go, Ash, you're doing that wrong. This is good, and you need to replace that. And I'm going to go, yeah, good point. Let's do it.
So what size of industry?
If you go to a huge place, and you've got, managing partners, directors, sales directors, and all these sort of like people. And like, hang on a minute, this is going to be a bun fight.
So the largest client I've ever consulted with, 800 staff and about 10 different offices, and one of them was international, so in America, the rest were in the UK. And the hardest thing is different departments not speaking to each other. So one of the cliche stereotypical problems I have is a sales director will say, I need a new CRM. Or a finance director will say, I need a new finance system. And they'll just go and source things based on what they need, which isn't wrong. They actually might do their due diligence, and they'll just whack it in. But they didn't tell the sales director if they're the finance director, or the sales director if they're the finance director. And then those two systems don't talk to each other. And then you've got frustrated salespeople who aren't getting metrics for their, their reviews and chase-ups. And the finance team aren't getting forecasts properly because they can't see sales data that's going in. And if someone just stops and gone, hold on a minute, do you need this? And have you tested it, or have you evaluated it? Could have saved a lot of time and money. So yeah. About 800 staff, a pretty large company.
I've gone into a firm before where multiple members of staff have taken out subscription for softwares when they only needed one subscription. Perfect example of it. And it's simply because they're not communicating. So, the left hand and right hand just are doing their own thing and not working cohesively together.
And Paul totally agrees with you. He says its lack of accountability is really annoying. So what's the answer there? How do we fix that issue?
What, when you're consulting or being a business advisor, or
all of the above?
Lack of accountability in general in life. surround yourself with good people.
Nice.
Okay, no, that's a bit corny. That's a bit of a throwaway answer. So if it's a business consultant, I would always lean towards having some kind of tangible metric. I'm going to say this a lot. If you ask me this question, it's what are you actually going to do? What do you do now? What do you want to do in the future? And how do we measure that? And as long as you're doing those things and making sure you're following up, then you're okay. It's when people kind of come in and go, I kind of feel like you should do this. Now, some people are good at that. They can literally do a business that way. It's fine. But if you want to like scale effectively or want to maintain your business without even scaling, you have to measure something. There has to be a beginning and end and in between. So that's how I'd say you've got to remain accountable. Yeah.
So what kind of metrics are you leaning people to relying on? Because when it comes to social media and other platforms like that, there's obviously the ones that are being tracked by the platform, but not necessarily the most useful to the business to learn how to expand. So do you have a set of metrics or a few key milestones that you ask people to reach towards that make it easier to measure? Like, which ones do you think people should be looking at?
Yeah, okay, so like owner managed business, right? It can be really simple ones. How much time are you spending doing invoicing, right? Like, let's say you're a builder or something like that. You're just doing your thing. How much time are you spending? Or, how many times can you drop your kids off at school, right? Is it only once a week? Do you want to do it twice a week? How do we get to twice a week? That's a very simple metric. That's a time-based thing. Obviously, with larger businesses, it will be revenue, profit, margin, even things that seem obscure to like IT and software systems. It might be like staff turnover, like how many times people are cancelling or quitting their job, because these things can be an indicator of something else wrong in the business. So generally speaking, revenue, profit, but there's other kind of like more qualitative things you can measure.
I think that's really interesting how you're saying the type of metrics change based on the size of the business, because I think when I talk to lots of other solopreneurs or business coaches who know that I only work on my own, the one thing they always talk about is money. But at this point, when it's a lifestyle business, that's not necessarily what we're focused on. How do you get people to drill down into exactly what matters to them and exactly what priorities need to be put first?
Usually a glass of wine. No, just
Nice.
ask them. Just ask people, right? And I guess it's not necessarily what you ask, but how you ask it. But I think that's a skill involved, because if you come in like, Mr. Big Balls and say, no, you've done this wrong, you're just going to offend people. But if you kind of gently coax it out of people, then they'll tell you usually.
I think a glass of wine is a good idea, because it takes them out of the business setting.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be alcohol. It could be going down to the local coffee shop and having a latte and a cake. I couldn't think of a cake, but and it's just pardon, lemon drizzle. Yeah, obviously.
It's a good yellow cake.
We're keeping the yellow theme there, aren't we? But the thing is, right, we get so wrapped up in our business. We're here working until 2:00 in the morning. We think we're running a tight ship. And it's only when somebody like yourself, Dayle, that comes in and goes, actually, have you thought of this? Have you thought of that? So there should be a question there, shouldn't there?
There's that phrase, isn't it?
We're waiting for it.
I think when you've got solo business owners, you get so used to doing everything, and people forget that if the business doesn't run without you, it's not a business.
Yeah.
And you get stuck in doing it all, and it's learning to hand over. Let go of the reins a bit.
So what's the key thing then that solopreneurs should be doing first to start that handing over?
Are you asking me, or
I'm asking anybody, because we're all we're all pretty much in the same boat. And if
start with you as the guest, being as is what you do.
Yeah, that's a good idea, right there.
So what should solopreneurs focus on? Could you repeat the question? Sorry, just to make sure.
Yeah. So
make it shorter and repeat, please.
Yeah, okay. Is it A or is it B? Look, so Odessa and I, right? Just we're really busy, and and it's like this happens and then that happens, and a lot of it is reactive. A lot of it is juggling. We wear an awful lot of hats. There's not quite enough money coming in to actually turn around and go, hey, let's hire a Girl Friday or something. And it was sort of like we're just stuck on this little fine balancing point. Is that right, Odessa, Victoria? Yeah.
Do
you mean the kind of feast or famine cycle kind of thing?
You have to go, what is my time worth, and what would it cost to have someone else do this? And where's the justification? So, for example, like with the VA stuff that we do with my other business, is that sometimes the business owner actually can make more money working on growing their business than doing the small tasks that they can outsource to us that we can do in half the time. So that's where it's knowing your business and your boundaries, I suppose, comes into it. And having someone like Dayle to ask you the right questions so you know when that moment is.
Yeah. I'm going to echo what Victoria said. Like, I think a lot of people start a business and first of all, they forget to pay themselves. That's kind of important. And also, like, I think Victoria, you said it a bit before, like having that business run in a way that doesn't necessarily need you should be one of the end goals. People disagree with me on this a lot, but ultimately, you need to make it so that the business can sustain itself to an extent without you doing 60 hours a week. Because if you're going to do 60 hours a week, you might as well just be employed, because you can be employed, do 60 hours, and not have to worry about paying yourself, not have to worry about tax, not have to worry about potentially paying staff. And the analogy that my dad likes to use is like, you can be someone who works in trades, right? You're amazing at nailing in hammers, right? So you do that for an employer, and you do it and you get paid, and you think, oh, I'm gonna do it myself. So you go out and you nail in hammers, but the moment you are sick, you can no longer nail in hammers, so your revenue stops. And I think that's the mistake a lot of solopreneurs make. You have to make some kind of passive income, or some level of passivity in your income that doesn't necessarily rely on solely your time for money, because there's always a limit on your time. Ultimately, you will reach 60 hours a week. Personal trainers, for example. I've got lots of friends that are personal trainers. They become amazing. They get different levels. One of my friends coached Olympians, right, as a personal trainer. But he then realised, I can only earn as many hours as I have in the week. And everyone's got the same amount of hours. So he had to start making content and training programs that he could give to people where he didn't actually have to be there all the time.
And that's where we get into the discussion on pricing in terms of hourly rate or value pricing. Always. So many people price by the hour, and I do it still sometimes as well, depending on the client and the type of work. But you're then limiting your earning potential and your profitability.
Agree.
So the first step is, sorry, Odessa, do you want to go first?
I was just going to say, how do you work out what you can do for a passive income? Because I think there are lots of things that people assume they have to do, like a coaching program or like something like that. They've kind of follow what's the best way of working out what that might be, and how can you kind of strategize it? Because obviously, if you're not earning the money, you then struggle to find time to do the things in the business because there's no financial reward, which is what it ends up all being about. So how do you work out what that thing could be?
I'm going to borrow from Dragon's Den, right? They often say scalable and repeatable. So if you've managed to get your niche and you've got your clients, how then can you make it repeatable? And there's different avenues for that depending on what service you provide. But it's what can I do to make some of this, all of it, or somewhat repeatable? Has that answered your question? Or I just waffled on?
No, it makes that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just getting out of the weeds, because that's the trouble. As a small business owner, you're stuck in the weeds trying to hit those deadlines, get these things done. You've got certain things you have to do every week, and sorting that out. So my question that I was going to ask is, as a small business owner, you have to start thinking, right, okay, let's chat to Victoria and get a VA in. Let's think of what else I can do. So that's people, but there's also technology as well, Dayle, isn't there?
Yeah, okay, you got me. That's my bread and butter. So I'm always about, like, how do we automate it, and how do you measure the cost or the impact of that technology you're using, right? So there's lots of free resources you can use. Am I allowed to mention brands on this show? Is that allowed?
You carry on.
As a free agent, they do an amazing job, right? If you have a NatWest or Metal bank account, right, you as a business owner can get something called free agent, right? And everything is moving towards e-invoicing and technology and making tax digital. It doesn't cost you anything apart from this business account. And essentially, little things like that can save you time. And even if you want to pay for a paid solution, QuickBooks Online, Xero, Sage Online, you work out the cost to benefit ratio. So let's say one of these softwares costs you 30 quid a month, right? But it saves you 2 hours, and your hourly charge out rate, which you've worked out with your margin, is £50 an hour, £60 an hour. You've already saved that time or money. It's a matter of perspective and doing the maths on that. And again, with owner-managed business and solopreneurs, it's also the time factor. Can I spend £30 a month so I can see my kids 2 nights to 1 night a week, all that kind of stuff? Or, I want to go out for pizza with my friends. How much is that really worth to you? Is it worth £30 a month? Then do it.
Yeah,
Sorry.
And that's it. We stop and worry about the minutiae rather than the bigger picture.
Yeah. Or work out, that 30 quid a month, is that an extra one extra client? And does that one extra client offset it? And can I have 2 clients now that I'm doing this automated process? Well, then yes, it definitely, you've won that way. You've literally made your money back and more for investing in that piece of tech. And there are lots of things you can do that just automate the process.
So are there any tech that you would advise everyone to try? So for example, I use Fathom AI Note Taker. So on my Zoom calls, it comes on and it's fantastic and it does everything. And then it will email the person I'm on the call with afterwards with all the notes and a breakdown. And it means I can focus on the call rather than being like this, taking notes as I'm talking to them. So it's fantastic in that respect, and it's free. So are there any apps that you would recommend to most business owners that you really blow your mind, that you think, wow, that's really good and everyone should use it?
I would say OCR, optical character recognition in general, right? So it used to be reserved to massive corporate businesses like SAP, NetSuite had it, and you'd pay a fortune for it because they're like, the invoices and receipts would go in and staff expenses would go through it, and it would cost a lot of money. There are now solutions that are aimed at smaller businesses, HubDoc, Dext, Auto Entry. I think Free Agent has their own receipt. Anyway, and it makes your finance process significantly easier. You're not forgetting things, you're not missing things, your bookkeeper account's not chasing things for you. And essentially, when you have that data live, again, putting it into your system with no effort, that's when you can actually start looking at your margin and profitability without having to do crazy complications or having to wait a month for it to be done. Like it's already there. So real-time data, getting it in OCR is one of my favorite things. It works for every business size. Every business size.
Yeah, that's a top tip. I've got one. Calendly.
Yeah.
Calendly.
Why don't people use Calendly?
I had someone a few weeks ago.
Can you send me?
What is it?
Yeah, can you send me some dates that you're free? Why don't you just have my link? There you go. Try that.
Yep.
It doesn't work, Adessa. Come on.
Right. So there is a but. Love Calendly, but some people don't like it, don't want to use it. Then you have sometimes where it sets up the meeting, but it doesn't send out a link, or it doesn't track your availability. So you end up having double booking. So yes, you need to be very stringent with how you face it out, but don't necessarily rely on it. Make sure that it has absolutely set up the meeting, because I've had several where we've walked in and we found out there's no link.
There's an alternative to that is Zoho Bookings.
There's quite a few.
Microsoft have also got Microsoft Bookings as well if you're a Microsoft person.
Yeah, if you're using Microsoft, you've already got it. You don't have to go and pay for it.
My pet peeve is Teams. I just don't like Teams. It just doesn't work at all. My computer just hates it, and it takes forever to load up, and the quality is so poor.
By the show of hands, anybody who's listening, can you put in the chat, how do you feel about Teams? Is it love or is it hate? I feel like that's the question of the day.
I strongly dislike Teams.
I've heard they're actually changing the name to Marmite.
Except I would take support over the suggestion.
Randomly, teeniest link there. I used to have a cookbook that was My Mate Marmite in the kitchen, and it was all recipes of things you could make with Marmite. Don't know whatever happened to it, but it was fun when the kids.
It goes well in a beef stew or chili. Marmite in that, like the umami flavor. Like honestly, even if you don't like Marmite, you can't taste it. It just adds like that kind of taste, that umami flavor.
I heard before someone say about putting chocolate in chili.
Yes, I also do that too.
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, no, it's
like
good.
80%.
And this is going to sound weird thing, right? My daughter does instant noodles and puts honey and cinnamon on her chicken flavored instant noodles. Like, the hell? Oh, yeah. We've lost Dayle.
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Oh, he's laughing at the noodles thing.
Yeah, he probably is. Or he's gone to get a Cadbury's cream egg to chuck into his chili.
You can't get them out of season. I've cried in aisles with mini eggs as well. You can't get them out of season.
Oh,
it won't be long, and they'll be in the shops.
No, it won't be long. No, that's one thing I love about supermarkets stocking things at random time of years or like months in advance, because it gives me longer with my favourite snacks.
and cream eggs and mini eggs are your favourite snacks.
How many people have eaten mince pies already?
I haven't had one yet.
They are in the shops. They've been in the shops.
I know they are.
Pretty much
I saw them last month.
From the 1st of October, there'll be 2 or 3 boxes eaten in my house every week now till Christmas, and that's not me eating them, that's the other people in the house.
Apparently the average person in the UK eats 36.
Wow.
Oh, I know what's happened.
I might eat 1 or 2 at most, if that. I'm not a huge fan.
I think we're on parent patrol. I think that's what's happening here.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's now not a good time to ask how you got into podcasting, and tell us a bit about your podcasting.
Me, I did it for fun. All right. So about 3 years ago, there was this kind of like two camps on LinkedIn, right? People were saying that LinkedIn is becoming too social, right? And then some people saying LinkedIn should be business only. And I saw posts on both ends, right? I saw some really dry, boring, buy my stuff content. Yeah. And I did see stuff where I was like, I don't care about a picture of your dog. Like, actually add some value. So I thought, how do I do both? How do I talk to people? And how do I get them to talk about their business and, you know, help them promote their products and services and explain that they're experts in what they do, but also ask them dumb questions at the same time to make it more personable. And that's how the live stream started. It was just for my own amusement.
And what did you call it?
Flabonga Monthrothacube.
You're the only person that can pronounce that.
Yeah.
No,
you guys know where the name came from?
Yeah, no, tell us.
Can you say it again?
Flabonga Monthrothacube.
Right. We're going to have to put that in a banner.
No, I practiced, so I know I can say it as well. And I practiced this morning as well. We're not doing it now.
Can you say it now?
Flabonga Monthrothacube.
Nailed it.
Thanks.
You said it better than me.
Thanks.
Right. Who's going to
So tell us what the name came from. Tell us what the name came from.
I want to know the spelling first.
Okay. We'll do that afterwards. Where did it come from?
So essentially, when I started doing these live streams, it was basically I just did a chat with so-and-so. So it was Dayle, a chat with Rob, Ashley, Odessa, whatever. And there's a guy called Nick Smethurst, Mancunian guy who's somewhat prolific on LinkedIn. I like him. He's funny, does amazing puns. Yeah, and I was like, what should I call it? And I think I asked him on one of the streams when it didn't have a name, what should I brand it? And off the top of his head in his amazing accent, he just went, Flabonga Monthrothacube. I was like, bro, what does that mean? He went, don't know, man, just made it up. I was like, yeah. And I was like, all right, then let's go with that. That's crazy.
Love it. It's brilliant.
Absolute madness.
Awesome. Great.
You keep disappearing. What's up, Victoria?
Oh, I've got gremlins in my browser. That's the way I explain it. I use a gaming browser, Opera GX, and for whatever reason, it's not liking StreamYard today, so it keeps booting me out. And yeah,
I had no idea you were that level geeky, Victoria. Props to you using Opera.
Well, I have sons in their early 20s.
That's amazing. Like you're one of like.
Do you know why I use
2%
it?
of internet users.
It's the plugins at the side. So I have Messenger and WhatsApp and IG and all that in the side. So when I'm working away, it makes it 10 times quicker to respond to people.
No, it's a great browser. Just no one ever uses it because it's pretty geeky.
Yeah. And it also uses less CPU. It's just today it doesn't like me, so it's obviously got gremlins. That's my tech version answer.
Nice.
So when we say Opera to Odessa, she starts singing.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was a browser called Opera.
Yeah, Opera GX.
Have a look.
It is 99% of the time it's really good. It's just today it doesn't like me.
So when you're going around and about talking to people, most people are using Microsoft, or do you see a lot of people with Macs?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Windows and Microsoft mostly.
Yeah. That was a good business model, wasn't it?
What, Microsoft?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting it on every single computer in the world. So going back to your podcast, is it still running?
It is still running, yes.
And how often do you do it? When do you do it? How can we find it?
So once a week on LinkedIn and YouTube, every Wednesday at 12 o'clock British time zone, whatever time zone we're in.
Yeah, it changes all the time because the clocks go
forwards and backwards. Yeah.
Back
this weekend. Yeah.
They go back this weekend.
We gained an hour, right, this week? Is that right?
Yeah, only on one day, though.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be great if we had an extra hour every day? What would you do? What would you do with that extra hour every single day, Victoria?
Oh, God. I'd have another cup of tea or a bubble bath. That's me. That's my happy place.
Okay. Odessa?
Wait, am I gaining an hour or am I losing an hour? Just remind me.
No, you're gaining an hour, but not just on Sunday morning, every single day. I don't know, for some quirk of nature, you've got 25 hours in the day, not 24.
I mean, I already go to bed pretty late, so I think it would just be, I'd like a daytime hour, please, if that was an option. And I probably would just spend it with the kids. because when I do have them, it's 50% of the time. The days do never feel, I mean, they feel long enough when you get to bedtime, but like the actual bit of the day would be nice. A little bit more of sunlight, a little bit more daylight to go and do something fun.
Dayle?
An extra hour in the day, that's extra gym time for me. So extra gym session would be awesome.
Nice. See, I spend too long in the gym already. So
how can you spend too long in the gym?
Yeah, so how long are your sessions?
I train at least 3 times a week, and I do some pretty big weights.
Like 2-hour sessions, 3-hour sessions? That's a long time in the gym.
No, about an hour. But I'm like, so what day did we train? Day or two ago. Wednesday we trained, and I was pressing 257 kilos on the leg press.
Wow.
The only thing I learned after that is don't try and do the stair machine afterwards, because that is a killer. I made that mistake, and then I was like, right, okay, I'll go and do the treadmill instead. So yeah.
After 257 kilos of bench pressing on your legs, I would have thought I'd be doing the coffee machine.
Yeah. That is my favourite machine as it happens in the gym.
The coffee machine, yeah.
Not the straight on.
The coffee machine or the vending machine.
The fixed leg press that's where you're kind of sat upright. I don't like that one. It hurts my back. But the angled one, that's my favourite. And what usually makes me laugh, and I've had it before, is I said to someone, do you mind if I take the 25 kilo plate? And then they're like, I'll give you a hand. And these boys start trying to load it on for me as if I'm some sort of weak woman. And I'm like, that's all right, I can do it. And then I'm loading like 100 plus kilos each side and pressing it. And they kind of go, oh. So yeah, that's usually quite amusing. Sorry,
nice.
Random. But
yeah. That's a cool party trick.
Dayle, what's your favourite machine?
I don't use machines that much, but my favourite movement is squat. That's my favourite. Strongest on my squat.
Oh, Punisher.
Don't mind an RDL in there, but it's been a while since I've done them.
I don't RDL, I use a hex bar instead.
Oh, yeah. No, I do like the hex bar.
That's just like what?
It's been about 3 years since I've used a hex bar, but they are fun.
This is my exercise machine.
What is that?
It's resistant bands.
Hey man, I never knock anyone's way of working out, right?
Shall I tell you a story, Ashley? We brought resistant bands, I think it was at the start of the pandemic, and we put it in the motorhome so we could exercise whenever we go away, and it's just sat in there and we've never touched it. Like, we train all the time. Every other day we're in the gym, and yet when we go away, it just doesn't get used.
Oh, these will be going to Canada with me. I'm going to do a little bit every day.
Yeah.
And get this physique by doing nothing.
Aren't you ever worried that like the band is going to slip and just like smack you in the face? Because I've seen those videos on YouTube and Instagram. Like that's my biggest fear. Like,
yeah,
but
it's always the silly people that are doing silly things with them that you see on YouTube, isn't it?
It happens to regular people. It happens to regular people.
No. It's when your physio turns around to you and says, "Loop it around the handle on the window so you're at the right height to do it," and then it slips off the handle because the handle was a downward facing position. Just saying, but the importance of being able to do that when you're sat down to try and release your shoulder tension, because obviously if you sat at a desk quite a lot, you need to be pushing your shoulders back. So providing that you do it safely with the with the right way of securing the bands is really good.
Can I assume this happened to you, Odessa? And if so, is there video?
Oh, absolutely, 100% happened. 100%. You know, all the ones where you're supposed to stand on it and then it slips off the bit of your foot. No embarrassment. I'm quite a clumsy person. I have lived my life in the attempt of trying to avoid all clumsy moments, but then there are a few that slip through the net, and apparently the resistant band's one of them. Yeah.
This is a whole new podcast, isn't it? Clumsy moments with Odessa.
I love watching those fail videos. I would like to fight anybody who says they don't watch.
That's my guilty pleasure. That is Odessa.
Is it really?
You've sussed me out. Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah.
This is what I did on the weekend when I used to put out that post and I said I was looking for things to make me laugh. That's what I was doing. I spent like
my husband lived on fail blog.
I used to love it was YouTube framed on the TV because back in the day we didn't have cameras on our phones. We didn't have phones, and so people would send in videos. They'd actually send in a tape cassette to the TV.
So I don't like filming in the gym in terms of my phone because it's a bit obvious that you're doing it. But I've packed in my bag at the moment to go for the weekend for the holiday. But I've got Meta glasses, and the Meta glasses they're Meta Ray-Bans, but they film They take photos. You can live stream on them. You can answer calls on them. So I'll put them on and I'll film as I'm racking up and then doing the machine. And the footage is so much fun, and it's not obvious to everyone else that you're filming as well.
That's the most voyeuristic thing I've ever heard.
Yeah,
what else
I don't film other people. I just film the machine.
Steady on, man. Steady on.
That's some MI5 level.
They are, but and also they got transition lenses, so they turn into sunglasses as well, which is fine.
Yeah,
except if I wear them up, say for example, if I walk up to Sainsbury's and it's quite bright, they'll kind of go shaded, and then I walk in the store and I look like an idiot because I look like I've got sunglasses on still, when it's not. It's just the lenses are still transitioning back to clear.
But if anyone calls you that, at least you've got video footage. So you can
I've had amazing
this is the abuse from a Tesco worker.
the photographs I've taken with these glasses is 10 times better than the quality on the iPhone. It's like really clear and crisp, and the colours are really bright. You know, it's amazing, the technology. And it's just, and you literally have a button at the side and you just go and take the photo.
That is James Bond, isn't it?
That's so misusable. I can think of all the
Hold on a second, I'll see if I can.
Those glasses.
I'll see if I can unpack them because they're buried. Literally ready to go on holiday.
And now you're going to be on holiday and you're not going to have them, are you? That's the thing.
There we go. So they come in a case that charges them, and then literally you can put them on.
Clever.
And so you switch them on here, and also it's got like is it like jawbone technology? So I can hear all the music, or if I'm on a call, I can hear it, but no one else can.
That's really cool.
That's next level. That is.
And you can see the little lenses on the front.
Yeah, very cool.
I now want a pair.
Yeah, absolutely. I want 2 pairs. So I put one on the back of my head so I can record who's looking at me as I'm walking down the street.
You've become a human dash cam.
Yeah, absolutely. Marcus wants to know what you get up to when you're not on podcasts, and I don't know what Drodpov means.
So Drod is D-Rod, that's me, Dayle Rodriguez, D-Rod, and POV is point of view.
Yeah. Okay, Drodpov, of course. I knew that. Really.
So
I was just helping everybody else that were watching.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. So is he assuming I would get a pair of these glasses and people would watch my footage? It'll be woefully mundane.
I would say the one time I live streamed, we were at on a date night and there was a live band performing. So I live streamed the musician playing onto Facebook. And the only problem I had was that because I'm wearing the glasses, if I turned, then everyone would see, like my husband was like, don't look at me, just look straight. So I had to sit there like this the whole time, trying to keep still so that everyone could just see what I was watching in front. So yeah, it does have its slight disadvantages in that respect. So whatever I see is what they see. But they are fun.
So what do you get up to when you're not on podcasts, please?
Yeah.
I can't tell you all the mischievous things I do. I get fired.
Well, so do you have other hobbies?
All right, so
you have a life, basically?
Nah, it's just this gym and work. No, I like playing music, so I play guitar.
Nice.
I would consider myself a foodie, and I enjoy cooking. Like, I love cooking. Like, my love language is cooking. Like, if we hang out, I cook with you. We're friends, we're buddies. Like, I love.
When are we hanging out? I obviously need food now, clearly.
When you're not like 3 or 4 hours away, maybe. We live on the opposite side of the
close
country,
the
don't we?
distance.
Like,
Make plans.
Cool. Yeah. What else do I do?
What's your favourite thing to cook?
Favourite thing to cook?
Cuisine or
It
dish?
would have to be cuisine. Oh man, that's hard.
You can do singular dish, or you could do entire cuisine, just if it made it easier. Because I understand foodies, we like to be specific.
Okay. All right.
You see, so
Good job. It's lunchtime, isn't it?
So for me, I'm a baker. I like to bake. So this time of year is good for me because I bake lots of Christmas cakes.
I am rubbish at baking. My answer would be, all right, so any form of like seasoned meat, so like a good curry where like marinate it overnight, or like some barbecue, like a brisket, like we'd like season it and like all the flavour in the meat.
Marcus knew about the brisket.
He knew.
Yeah, he did. He got that in there, didn't he?
I love brisket.
I also like to batch cook, so I've got big pressure cooker and I batch cook lots of stuff in that, lots of curries and chilies and things like barbecue pulled chicken and all the stuff you can do in big batches. It saves time.
I think we should end this live early. It's
Absolutely.
We're making you hungry.
Lunch. Absolutely. Right. Okay. So, got something here. wherever it is.
I don't know.
It's here somewhere.
I don't know. What
I say the preparation and like the display of your show is way better than my show. I need to get tips from you guys. Like,
absolutely.
like the intro music was amazing. I was bopping along earlier. I was like, yeah.
So, Victoria, tell us all about what's going on the 15th of November, so that everybody can still have a little bit of fun on a Friday.
Yeah, so on the 15th of November, I have the amazing Susie Payton on as my first guest. And if you don't know Susie, Google her. She is a coach and mentor. She is a comedian. She has ADHD and she is a riot. And I'm really looking forward to chatting to her and going in depth. And she's the first of many amazing guests I've got lined up.
That's going in my diary. So that sounds absolutely hilarious. I'm looking forward to that. Right, Dayle, what are you doing this weekend?
So I've got my daughter this weekend. So it's a daddy-daughter weekend. I think she's going to some kind of Halloween party. It's another kid's birthday party she's going to. So yeah, lots of parties and kid-focused activities.
Fantastic. And Haribo.
Nice.
And Haribo, for sure.
Perfect.
I love it so.
Victoria, what are you doing this weekend?
Well, I'm off to Dusseldorf in the morning. So I'm off to Folkestone tonight and then Dusseldorf in the morning to go and chill out for a week in a spa.
You have fun. And Odessa, what are you doing this weekend?
I think I'm going to IKEA.
Do you know what?
Wow.
That's my idea of fun.
Wow.
I went on Monday. Unfortunately,
being a grown-up.
I have to replace some frames. There's a possibility I'll try and do a National Trust, and I bought myself one of those, the pottery kit things that you can do. I'm going to make some candles because I've always wanted to throw clay because I think that would be a lot of fun. But the place that's literally around the corner I didn't know existed until I found out it was fully booked until February. But yeah,
have you booked for February?
Not yet. No,
go and book it.
Far away. It felt like
go
a commitment.
and book it. Go and do it. Jess, we bought Jess one for Christmas. So last Christmas we bought it, but it wasn't until May, and it sort of like seemed forever. She had an absolute blast. Executor. She thoroughly loved it.
So so on the one hand, I've always wanted to do it, and this is my only problem with stuff that I've always really wanted to do. When I get to doing it, I find out it's absolutely the wrong activity for me, and I romanticized it in my head. So
it's like meeting your heroes.
Well, yeah, it is. But like kayaking, I thought it would be so serene. Got in it. They said there's a possibility it'll tip over and you'll end up underwater, which is not the best place to start. And then I didn't like that it wobbled, so I got out and cried. So it's that one thing where I'm like, I really want to love it, but I didn't.
Were you river kayaking or sea kayaking? Because I river kayak and I love it. Sea kayaking, same thing. I paddled out to sea, it rocked, and I went no, and I'm straight out. There
was a lake. There's no actual reason.
No waves.
I should be crying. Yeah, no idea why I should be crying. But I did pottery painting because I've always wanted to do that. And then the ADHD overwhelm of right colour. This is forever. This feels like a big deal. My brother and I did it. We're both a little bit neurodiverse. We were very highly strung and very twitchy afterwards. So I'm really nervous to do it because I really want
What if we got Patrick Swayze to come with you?
Oh.
It's not my type. I don't know how that's going to help me. It's not my type.
Oh, should I?
That reference is not on anyone under the age of 30, by the way.
I took my daughter to see Dirty Dancing at the theatre.
Never seen it.
The guy who played Patrick Swayze's role tried to put on this really fake accent to sound like Patrick Swayze, and it just completely ruined it. It was like hilarious, but it ruined it completely because this guy's accent was so dodgy. It was unbelievable.
So never meet your heroes. Right? Don't try something you've never done before, and don't go and watch the theatre production of a classic movie. So there you go. And on that bombshell, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for making this great fun, Victoria and Odessa. And I've enjoyed the last 3 weeks. And Dayle, thank you for making our last show absolutely incredible.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on.
And we look forward to seeing you in a few weeks' time.
Yeah. Thank you very
Cheerio.
much.
Bye-bye now.
Great weekend.
Bye.